Then came his illness. He was my child first. You and I are children of God. Does that come first in our lives? Do we remember the stuff of which we're made? Or do we make these limiting bodies the truth of our life? Sean Stevenson says, "My disabilities and my wheelchair are only 2% of my life. I am so capable and able to do so much more, and I choose to play large." All of us have fractures in our life. All of us have things that are broken, whether it's in relationships, finances, health, career, creative expression. It's not what we can't do. It's what we can do with what we have. It's our choice. We've been blessed with two directors in our life. Our intellect is limited to this physical existence. Now, sometimes when we let our intellect be the director of our life, we get into drama and chaos. Sometimes we love that victim mode and the self-pity. It keeps us from having to live too big. It keeps us, you don't know the problems I have in my life. You don't know why I can't do all those things. It keeps us small. It keeps the monkey mind chattering. The other director is the director of possibilities and unlimited potential. It's the one that doesn't react to life, but takes inspired action. It's the part of us that lives in the upper room. Do you know where that is? It's the room that is beyond all those physical limitations. It is the room that knows the absolute truth of oneness. It lives in unconditional love, forgiveness, and it recognizes the allness of life. It is that place. I spoke last week of the unencumbered place. That is the unencumbered place. So I'm going to invite you right now, all of us, to think of where we have a fracture in our life. Because let me tell you something. We're in an unfolding process of creation. If God could speak right now, God would say, I made creation so I could know myself. So we're here to know God, to know itself. So in the process of creation, there is friction. How many of you are feeling a little bit of the hot sparks right now? Little friction in the creation process. So I want you to close your eyes for a moment and take a deep breath of the oneness of the oxygen that we breathe together. And remember, we are made of this earth. We are all made of the same stuff right now. And there is only God. So this localized point of infinite intelligence that we are is made of the allness of God right now. I want you to think in your life of a place that you're feeling fractured. A place that might feel broken or separate from God. You see, in this beautiful universe, there is just one song. We can choose to find our piece, our part, our melody, our note, or we can choose to sleep during choir practice. And if we're sleeping, we miss the part. We feel separated and alone. So right now, I want you to just feel this upper room of our life, this allness of God that is part of our creative existence. And I want you to place on that altar a lie that you've been telling about yourself. It could be, I'm not good enough. It could be, I don't have enough. I'm not smart enough. It could be, it's going to be too difficult. It's going to be too hard. I have no one to help me. I have to do it all by myself. It could be any of these excuses or limitations that keep us small. But place them up there on the altar of God to let the light of truth shine in. To let the light of love heal and reveal a greater truth that's waiting to be born. I am a child of God. I have everything I need right now. Nothing is missing in my life except my recognition of my goodness. Right where I am, the allness of God lives. I want you to feel that. I want you to let it vibrate at every cell of your being so you eliminate and wash away anything unlike good. And as you come back to this room, I'd simply like you to remember that in this one universal song, the universe is always working for our awakening. Let me tell you that again. The universe is always working for our awakening. It doesn't know opposites. It doesn't know life or death, rich or poor, young or old, good or bad, black or white. It only knows the level of consciousness, degrees of awakening. And it gives us experiences that we may wake up to a greater truth about ourselves, our lives, and one another. I'd like to share, in closing, a poem from Hafiz, a great Sufi master. You see, the mystics and the prophets know our oneness. They know we belong to each other. They know the truth. I'm just going to ask Kirk and Gretchen if you'll be coming up while I read this poem. It's called The Vintage Man. It says, the difference between a good artist and a great one. The difference between a good artist and a great one is the novice will often lay down his tool brush and then pick up the invisible club. Now I want you to think about that. Pick up the invisible club on the mind's table and start endlessly smashing the easel and the jade with the invisible club of the mind. Whereas the vintage man no longer hurts himself or anyone else. He just keeps sculpting the light. He just keeps sculpting the light. The light is what we all have. It's the truth. It's the stuff of which we're made. It's the light that belongs to us and is uniquely ours. So I want to close today with a strong intention that we recognize that we are all in this together. That you and I together are greater than the sum of our parts. That we're here to treat people as we intend for them to be, not as they are. That we're here to live the life that we know we are capable of, not necessarily the one that we're actually living. So I'm going to ask you just to close with me in prayer as we know together right here and right now that God truly is all there is. That energy, that essence, that love, that light, that goodness is ours right now. It is the stuff of which we are made. And as we settle into this allness of good and light and love, we know that our external experiences and conditions are simply the vehicle for us to grow awake, to become alive, and to recognize that we are one. We are one. Alignment with that good. Feel yourself one with the infinite nature of spirit. Feel yourself alive and activated right now, knowing you have everything you need. There is nothing missing because you are the allness of life. And realize that together, as we recognize our oneness, that we truly do create a harmonic song on this earth, a song of peace and love and light. I am you, you are me, we are one. And as you feel the oneness of this song, I just invite you to take the hand and the heart of the person next to you. And if you feel inspired to stand